Is this what you want? This fucking foliage? Is this what you want? Mr. Dips? Is this what you want? Me standing in front of EC3 buying designer coats? Is this what you want? Me sitting in some hipster hotel in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, fluffing pillows? Is this what you want? I don't believe this. This graffiti art, it's the hotels, avocado toast. All I want is a fucking Guinness. An ice cold Guinness. What the hell does that mean? Oh, this is what you wanted. This is your Monday Night Raw review right here on Off the Script. What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. It is Monday, June 15th, 2020, and we are 24 hours removed from the greatest wrestling match ever. Almost. They didn't get to that point, but they definitely gave you a valiant effort. So we come to Monday Night Raw, and this is the first show under the Bruce Prichard era, so I'm not really expecting much of anything, and I wasn't expecting much going in, and that's exactly what we got coming out. A bunch of nothing. This was a very talk-heavy Monday Night Raw. This was a Monday Night Raw that continued from Backlash, that built towards Extreme Rules. You can see the beginning phases of Extreme Rules happening right before your very eyes. They seemingly ended a bunch of storylines that they had coming out of Backlash, or at least I would hope. And WWE built this show around the return of Christian. Yes, that Christian. Peep Show Christian. Edge's best friend Christian. Wrestling in God knows how long in a match against Randy Orton, unsanctioned in the main event, because Edge is now legitimately injured. So let's call upon his best friend to pick up the remaining pieces of this now dead storyline for the time being. That's exactly what Monday Night Raw was all about tonight. And on top of that, we got a Big Show return. He was heel last time we seen him. He was in a match against Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania as a heel. And now he's back on Raw in June of 2020 as a babyface. The world goes round and round, and the Big Show goes from heel to babyface once again on Monday Night Raw. And by the way, the Ninjas were on the show again for a second straight night. That's your Monday Night Raw, folks. I don't know who in the community, I really don't. I don't know who in the community could watch this shit and actually justify the garbage that we're watching. I don't know what blue verified check marks on social media want to continue to shill this shit with their influence over the entire community and continue praising what was obviously garbage. Garbage. I want a better show. Everybody wants a better show. This was not it, folks. This was not it. We're going to go into why this wasn't it on the show tonight. So I want to thank you guys for joining me right here on Off the Scripts. If you missed anything that I uploaded this weekend, man, busy weekends. SmackDown, Off the Script, a pre-show for Backlash, a post-show for Backlash. Everything you need. If you missed anything Backlash related, down in the description below of this very video, go and check all of that out. I would really appreciate it. We were the #1 podcast, #1 content creator on YouTube when it comes to WWE Backlash-related post-show content. So I want to thank you guys for joining me live and having some fun with me live going over Backlash on Sunday night. Almost 3,000 people in the chat, so you guys are great. Love you all for that. If you missed any of that, links are down below in the description below of this very video. Make sure you follow me on social media, which is getting me into trouble nowadays because everybody's a sensitive fucking pussy. Social media at JDfromNY206 on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to go and support the podcast via Patreon, you guys can do that as well. Patreon.com/JDfromNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. And again, turn on that bell for all notifications. Hit that thumbs up as always. Helps out the video. And today's podcast is brought to you by my good friends over at Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys go and check them out for your free audiobook and 30 days free of their service. There's nothing better than listening to Off the Script and getting something for free for spending your time with me here on Monday night. We will go over those guys and my friends over at Audible in just a little bit. Let's get right into the show, man. First of all, I got to talk about this Edge injury because I really did not believe. I was one of the very few. A lot of you guys believed some of the dirt sheets. A lot of you guys believed some of the more credible sources in the community like a Sean Ross Sapp and a Wrestling Inc. about that. They were absolutely right about the Edge injury. So we discussed that on the podcast last night, and I really didn't believe the story based off what we seen at Backlash on Sunday night. Now, some of you were sending me photographs about Edge and pictures of Edge from the Randy Orton greatest wrestling match that was not on Sunday night. Great, but it was not the greatest wrestling match ever. But some of you sent me pictures of Edge and his torn bicep as he was laying on the mat at the end of the show. Really gruesome stuff. And then WWE Tonight actually showed a picture of him in surgery because this match was actually taped on June 7th. So whatever you seen last night at Backlash happened on June 7th, and they actually withheld this information until we got to the pay-per-view on Sunday, June 14th. They didn't want anybody to worry. They wanted to keep it secret. They kept it right to the vest, right? They held all their cards right to the vest. And it was one of those situations that I didn't believe, especially when we seen the storyline play out at the end of the show with Edge being stretchered or, I guess, declining the medical attention at the end of the match. I thought it was a way for them to write off Edge at the end of the show. Now, I don't know what happened. I guess I'll find out more as the week goes on with Alvarez and Meltzer and whoever talks about the news coming out of Backlash. But with the way things transpired at the end of the match, I thought it was simply a way for him to be written off television. And then plus that, we got the bicep injury and then we got the punt kick, which we haven't seen on WWE television for many, many weeks, many months. Not even weeks, months, years. We haven't seen the punt kick on WWE TV. It's one of those situations that they don't usually break out as far as Randy Orton goes. And you know when they do it, it's going to be in a very serious situation. So I'm like, this got to be kayfabe. This has to be kayfabe. This has to be a way to write Edge off of TV. And the rumor was that Edge and Randy Orton were going to have a third and final match at SummerSlam. And now those plans are actually going to be put on hold until he comes back. We don't know when he's coming back. We don't know the severity of the injury. Randy Orton mentioned something about him not coming back at all. Obviously, that's playing into the storyline on tonight's Monday Night Raw, but it is a legit injury, and he will be out for a very long time, according to the sources right now. But again, we don't have any concrete information on when Edge is going to be returning to WWE TV. So tonight was all about Christian coming back and getting that one final match against Randy Orton in defense of his friend, unsanctioned, and we will go over how that happened on tonight's show. So Randy Orton obviously was the first thing that we seen on Monday Night Raw. Obviously from the main event of Backlash going right into Monday Night Raw, he came out to start the show. Now, I loved what they did last night. It was great. It was no way the greatest wrestling match ever. I do still have my hesitations and reservations about it because WWE clearly went ahead and did whatever they did last night to really kind of throw it in your face. And we will discuss this on Friday. They threw it in all of our faces because we shit all over their WrestleMania match and they did whatever they had to do to kind of shut us, the community, the content creators, the podcasters, up. They want us to really sit here and look at what they're doing and feel like we don't matter. You shit all over the Randy Orton Edge match at WrestleMania, but here they came out and went 45 minutes and delivered a great match. So eat your words, motherfuckers. That's exactly what they thought about it. Now, I see right through their game. I see right through everything that they do. You're not going to silence me, man. I see right through everything you are doing. So, Randy Orton opened Monday Night Raw. And Orton said last night at Backlash, he did what he did. And he said exactly what he did at Backlash. He said he humiliated Edge and embarrassed Edge and wrote the final chapter of his redemption story. He also said that he gave him closure. He said he knew the minute he saw him in January, when he saw him in the Royal Rumble, that there was no way in hell he would be a competitor, and there's no way he would be the competitor that he was back in the day. He said all he needed to do was let him help him, but he was too stubborn to trust him. He said he trusted Edge years ago when he saved him from his own destruction. He said at WrestleMania he wasn't the last man standing, but he stands there in the ring having won the greatest wrestling match ever, which obviously was not the case, which makes him the greatest professional wrestler ever, which also is not the case. This is obviously WWE just throwing it in your face. You didn't think we could have the match that we did? Go fuck yourself. Randy Orton was a part of this match and went 45 minutes with Edge. Now I'm the greatest wrestler ever. He's not. He's great at what he does, but nowhere near the greatest wrestler ever. That, in my honest opinion, goes to Shawn Michaels, but that's my honest opinion. So he said he doesn't need a title to prove it. Now that is a very, very damning statement right there. He doesn't need a title to prove that he's the greatest wrestler ever. Now we know he's not the greatest wrestler ever, but the logical storyline here and the natural progression of Randy Orton, now that Edge is injured, I mentioned this on the podcast on Sunday when I covered Backlash on the post show, the natural progression would be for Randy Orton to go one-on-one with Drew McIntyre. That's the natural progression of things. Not continuing to feud with Edge or bring Beth Phoenix back and talk shit about Edge until Edge comes back, or bring Christian Cage back to Monday Night Raw. We don't need any of that. WWE is clearly biding their time. And bringing Christian back is something that I am highly against. Now, I love Christian. I really do. I think Christian is great. I think Christian was not really treated like the superstar that I thought he was. In fact, he had one of my best feuds, personally, one of my more favorite feuds in recent memory with Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship in WWE when he was still an active WWE performer. I loved what Christian and Randy Orton did for, I believe it was SmackDown, for the World Heavyweight Championship. They were gold together. And I thought it was great. But that doesn't mean I want to see him back on Monday Night Raw in this role for obvious reasons. Now, after he said he didn't need a title to prove it, he said he wanted to thank Edge for igniting the fire in him that only burns at the expense of other legends. He said he helped him remember what it feels like to be the legend killer. My favorite version of Randy Orton, personally. He said he'd like to thank him in person. He said he's not there, though, because the punt kick took him out, and he tore his tricep right off the bone. He said he knew right when it happened, and he could have ended it there, but he wanted him to suffer. He said he's in a hospital recovering from doctors trying to surgically reattach the muscle to the bone. Seems you have another mountain to climb, Orton said. I hear you're going to be cleared in July. So I'm like, oh wow, it's not that bad. ... July of 2029, says Orton, poking fun at Edge, meaning that he'll never come back. So hopefully our paths cross again in, say, 9 years. And he started laughing. Out came Christian. His music played on the PA. He comes marching down to the ring. Christian asked him what kind of man he is. He said he thinks he's cold, calculating, and a son of a bitch. Nothing says a promo when you can drop son of a bitch in a promo. Really good use of words there. Really, I like that. It's better than just the divas or the women saying, bitch, you're a bitch. You're a son of a bitch, Randy Orton. I like it. It's got a nice power behind it, you know? Orton laughed. Christian said Edge's career isn't over. He said he's known Edge his entire life, and he won't quit now or ever. He said when the time comes, Edge will get closure on his terms. He's coming back. Orton asked if it's okay if he cuts him off now. Orton said this story is about him and Edge, not Christian. So after he said that, he said he's jealous of Edge. Christian is jealous of Edge, says Orton. He said he knows what Christian wants. You want one more match. And Christian denied it. Orton said he knows Christian isn't medically cleared, but he offered to fight him in an unsanctioned match. Christian looked conflicted. Orton began to leave the ring, but stopped and said the offer actually expires by the end of tonight. He said if Christian doesn't accept, it proves that Christian is nothing more than a coward. So obviously, this is leading to now Christian and Randy Orton, and Edge is not there, so he can't continue the storyline or the plans that WWE had for Edge and Orton going into SummerSlam that I read this afternoon. And now in is Christian Cage, Edge's best friend. I get it. I really do. I get the fact that WWE is looking to continue this storyline. The fact that Christian is in this thing, and I don't really know for sure. I'm only making an assumption here. The fact that Christian is getting involved here. Now, I don't really like it. I don't really agree with it. But the fact that Christian is involved here makes me think that the injury to Edge is not as serious as everybody is predicting it will be. I heard Meltzer say that it could be up to 8 months and require surgery, which obviously Edge got. It could be a situation where he requires surgery and it could be 4 months, or he doesn't require surgery at all. He's going to let it naturally heal and he'll be back by the end of the summer. So I don't know what's going on with Edge. The fact that they got Christian in this thing now makes me believe that Edge's injury is not that serious. Now, Edge is in this thing with Randy Orton. That doesn't necessarily mean you got to bring back Christian. It doesn't really look good on Christian's behalf. It doesn't look good on WWE's behalf. It looks bad on Christian because he actually stated many times that he's happy being retired. You know, his one match that he wanted, that one final match he wanted, has long sailed away. I don't think anybody watching this show wants to see another match with Christian Cage. I really don't care to see another Christian match in WWE. He would even say so. He is happily retired. How does that look on his behalf to come back and do this? Yes, he might be doing it for Edge, but really, is he doing it for Edge? Or is WWE asking him to fill in because Edge isn't there at the moment? How bad does this look for Christian Cage, knowing that he's on Monday Night Raw in the Edge and Randy Orton storyline that has nothing to do with him? He's on Monday Night Raw in the main event against Randy Orton, and the only reason why he's there is because his best friend is injured. That doesn't necessarily mean important to me. That doesn't necessarily mean good storytelling to me. To the fucking marks and the shills out there, this is continuity. This is consistency with the story. But this is WWE getting desperate instead of actually being creative with Randy Orton. Edge got injured. They could have rewritten Randy Orton's path on Monday Night Raw in a much better way, if you ask me. No, but instead they bring back Christian Cage, who they never factored into any plans. They never wanted him back at all, so they paid him a nice dollar to come back and do this because Edge is hurt, and simply, the only reason why he's back is because Edge is hurt. What does that say about Bruce? My good old buddy Bruce! What does that say about WWE Creative? That they're continuing with this storyline, and the only reason why Christian is back is because his best friend, the guy in this storyline, the main character in this storyline, besides Randy Orton, is injured. Doesn't necessarily sound good when I'm putting it into those words now, right? WWE could have clearly gone in another direction with Randy Orton, and they failed to do so. Instead of having Drew McIntyre battle Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship, which they ultimately killed tonight on Monday Night Raw, I don't know why you didn't slide Randy Orton into the WWE Championship title picture and had him maybe take the WWE Championship away from Drew McIntyre. Now, I've been saying it for weeks. I don't think Drew McIntyre should be losing the WWE Championship. But if you want to make another momentous return for Edge, how great would that be? If in his absence, Randy Orton won the WWE Championship. And he was the WWE Champion on Monday night. And then when Edge came back, he beats Randy Orton in the third and final match and becomes a WWE Champion. That would be an epic moment. That would be a momentous occasion for Edge, especially in this return, being away for 9.5 years. Now, that is just an idea. I'm not an advocate for that idea. I've been stating on my show on Friday, on Off the Script, that I don't think Drew McIntyre should be losing the WWE Championship, and I'm going to stay in that boat. But anything is better than having Christian Cage come back as an obvious, unwanted Plan C for this Edge and Randy Orton feud. I think anything would have been better. Was he wanted in the first place? Was he needed in the first place? Does he want to come back? Did WWE have any plan for him at all wrestling in the middle of this feud? I don't think so. I don't give this company any benefit of the doubt because 9 out of 10 times they fail every single time. I think WWE was better off riding a different path for Randy Orton, and the Drew McIntyre path makes the most sense. He won the greatest wrestling match ever. He proved to be the top heel on Monday Night Raw besides Seth Rollins. So why not factor him into the Drew McIntyre WWE title picture? He's the only other heel on Monday night besides Seth Rollins, who clearly does not deserve another opportunity. And he's involved with Rey Mysterio right now and his son. The only other heel on Monday Night Raw that even has a warrant for the WWE Championship. So why are you continuing this storyline unless Edge is not that injured and not as seriously injured as everybody is expecting it to be, and he's going to be back for SummerSlam where we get this match, and him kind of using Christian in this role will lead to Edge coming back by SummerSlam. Maybe WWE, like they kept the injury away from everybody, maybe they're keeping his return timetable under wraps. I don't know. So we'll figure that out along the way, but man, it doesn't look good for WWE to use someone who they never wanted in the first place in Christian, and it makes Christian look like a dummy for wanting to come back only because Edge is injured when he didn't even want to come back at all and wrestle. I don't know. And again, I think I am not alone in this situation. I don't think anybody wants to see a Christian versus Randy Orton match going into Extreme Rules or SummerSlam or anything in a Plan C role because Edge is injured. That's just my take on that. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Charlie Caruso was interviewing Zelina Vega and Angel Garza. So Charlie Caruso said that we are going to await Christian's chilling decision on this unsanctioned match, this chilling offer or chilling decision. The only thing that's chilling is me watching this show at 3 hours every Monday. I have nightmares every week about how bad this show is. She interviewed Zelina Vega and Angel Garza. So we've seen a replay of Apollo Crews beating Andrade and then Garza and Andrade having an argument post-match a couple of weeks back on Monday Night Raw. Garza seemed to have zero remorse for watching this clip. He was smiling. He didn't give a shit about Andrade whatsoever. He said Andrade must be hurting, but when you care deeply about something or someone, you have to let it go. Garza said he and Zelina feel bad for Kevin Owens. Vega said that Owens will be shown to be inferior tonight on Monday Night Raw. In walks Andrade, and he looks at Garza, shakes his hand. He says something to Garza about losing to Owens, and Garza shrugged it off as if he did not give a shit about what Andrade said. I don't know what's going on between Andrade and Angel Garza. Obviously, it's leading to a split. I don't necessarily think that's the right decision because the United States Championship is probably coming off of Apollo, but I don't necessarily think it goes back to Andrade or Angel Garza. Who's to say that Kevin Owens doesn't take the United States Championship off of Apollo because Kevin Owens, in the eyes of management, is better than all three of these guys. That's the way I see it. So we got Kevin Owens and Angel Garza with Zelina Vega. This was the first match on Monday Night Raw on what was, like I said, a very heavy, talk-heavy Monday Night Raw. So we got this match on Raw, went 7 minutes. KO and Garza were, at the end of this thing, exchanging strikes. Owens headbutted Garza, but then Andrade grabbed his leg from behind, who was on the outside. The ref yelled at Andrade to get off the ring apron. Garza came up from behind Kevin Owens, but then yelled at the referee and Andrade. Kevin Owens gave him a stunner and scored the pinfall victory. 1-2-3, Owens defeats Garza. There was not a lot to the match whatsoever. This was clearly a backdrop for what is going on with Vega, with Andrade, with Garza. I don't know where it's going, but Zelina Vega came out. She was actually so disgusted during this match that she walked away because of Garza and Andrade and them bickering back and forth. She walked away. And she came out at the end of this match and she started yelling at both of them. You both want the same thing. After the match, she was yelling, you both want the same thing. Enough of this. Stop fighting. You guys need to start fighting together. Do you hear me? So Garza and Andrade didn't really seem all that enthused with Zelina Vega yelling and scolding both of them, but they both, like obedient puppies, walked behind Zelina Vega and walked to the back. Again, I don't know where this is going. I hope to God this is not really going in a situation where Andrade is going to be left in the dust by Zelina Vega and Angel Garza. I really don't want to see that. I cannot envision Angel Garza with Zelina Vega and Andrade by himself as a baby face or without Zelina Vega, period. I can't envision that. I don't think that's the right creative move to make. Andrade needs Zelina because it hasn't worked in your eyes. That doesn't mean we don't want to see it. That doesn't mean we don't want to see it as an act. Andrade and Zelina Vega are an act on Monday Night Raw that needs to be together because Andrade is better when Zelina is there. You haven't done anything with Andrade when he was paired with Zelina. What are you going to do when Andrade is all by himself? If you take Zelina away from Andrade and put Zelina with Angel Garza, all you're telling the audience is that Zelina Vega is with the winner and Andrade is a loser. Andrade can barely speak English and cut a promo the way WWE wants. You expect this guy to get over on his own without a mouthpiece? I don't think that's the right creative decision here. Now, the right creative decision based off what Zelina Vega was yelling at them for, they need to stop fighting and start fighting together. Maybe they end up as a tag team. I don't know what the fuck you're doing with the tag team division, but from what I see, it is complete garbage. It doesn't exist. The Street Profits and the Viking Raiders made the tag team division a fucking joke based on what WWE Creative has given them. If you're making Zelina Vega come out and say, you need to start fighting together, in my eyes, that means Andrade and Angel Garza should be a tag team in a division that doesn't exist. Because realistically, whoever walks out of that match next week with the tag team championships, you basically have no competition waiting for you on the other side of that. You do if you have Andrade and Angel Garza teaming up together as a heel tag team. That could work. Because they ain't doing anything together. You don't have Austin Theory anymore. What are they doing? They're in the middle of nothing. They're in the middle of nothing. Pair them together and put them against the winner of that Viking Raiders Street Profits match. Any team that walks out of that match as the tag team champions and they go up against Andrade and Angel Garza, it will be a great match if you allow it to be a great match. I hope that's where they're going. Meanwhile, with Kevin Owens, he got a victory over on Andrade and Angel Garza. He's gotten victories over all these guys. And he beat Angel Garza here tonight. So why would Garza factor into anything United States Championship? Why would Andrade factor into anything United States Championship? It's Kevin Owens' time now. Now, I don't know what WWE thinks about Apollo Crews. All I read was reports that Vince McMahon is going to take the title off Apollo Crews because Apollo Crews was one of those guys that Paul Heyman was pushing on Monday night. Maybe Kevin Owens goes heel. Maybe Kevin Owens goes heel and goes after the United States Championship and takes the title off of Apollo Crews because WWE management would rather see it on Kevin Owens than Apollo Crews because they've never seen anything in Apollo Crews. Or maybe, just maybe, Apollo turns heel Apollo turns heel and Kevin Owens stays a babyface, and we have a feud between a heel Apollo and a babyface Kevin Owens instead of a heel Kevin Owens and a babyface Apollo. I don't know. I don't really know where they're going with this. All I know is, from what we've seen with Garza and Andrade, it looks like they may be a tag team, and if that is the creative decision that they are going with, that is the best creative decision. Because right now, Andrade by himself does nothing. Garza, I don't see Garza succeeding singles on Monday Night Raw in the Paul Heyman-less era. Tag them together, and I know that's a stretch. WWE doesn't give a shit about tag team wrestling on any show, but that is the best decision for them, to go and be a tag team and challenge for the tag team championship. At least it gives them some sort of direction. So that's that. Lashley and MVP made their way to the ring. Saxton said Lana tried to catch up with them after the match backstage, but they didn't want anything to do with them. MVP said last night at Backlash, after 13 years, Bobby Lashley finally got a WWE Championship opportunity, and he should have become the WWE Champion. MVP said Lana was thirsting for attention, and she tried to catch Bobby's eye with the interference she made last night at Backlash. He said it's all Lana's fault. He said if Drew had any integrity, he would give him a title rematch on the spot, which obviously didn't happen and shouldn't have happened at Backlash. He said Lana was specifically told not to come to the ring, but she came out anyway. So she obviously played a factor in that Backlash match, and then she comes out tonight to her theme music because MVP is talking shit about Lana in the ring in this promo on Raw. One of the little things that I hate about WWE being overproduced or so overproduced is situations like this. Lana came out. Obviously, MVP was talking shit about Lana and the fact that Lana ruined Bobby Lashley, getting the WWE Championship at Backlash. And she comes out to her theme music as if she's wrestling a match, and she's in this very skimpy attire. She comes out with a microphone to her theme music as if she's wrestling a match, just to come out there and talk shit to MVP and Bobby Lashley and defend herself from all the things that MVP is saying about her. I wish WWE would really look at what they're doing and look at how they're producing these shows and realize how unnatural it is. I know it's the WWE way, but these little things I pick up on annoy the living shit out of me as far as the viewer watching this match, or this segment, or a match, or whatever is leading up to a match, Cue promo segment, and then have promo A, promo B, and then the other person in this segment come out to their theme music and then start defending themselves. It's almost as if I'm watching a Broadway play, This is act number 3, scene 3. Cue Lana's music. Doesn't really come off that well on WWE TV. It looks like it is so overproduced, and these are the little things that I always complain about that I wish WWE would change. It would have been a lot better if Lana just came out without her theme music to start defending herself on the microphone. We didn't need her theme music to go off for 3 seconds just to get into the ring and start defending herself against these allegations by MVP. That's just me. I know I may be complaining about nothing, but that's the way I see it. So Lana's out there. MVP called her a thought. That's exactly what he said. So she's the problem. Lana told MVP to never talk to her like that ever again. You are a snake. You are manipulating him. MVP said he got a title shot once he showed up, meaning Bobby Lashley, got a title shot once he showed up. Lana told him to watch his tone. She reiterated that MVP is the problem. We were on a hot streak. She said Lashley asked her when the last time she laced up a pair of boots was, and all you worry about is likes on social media. Lashley said he was sick of everything that Lana was doing. She ruined everything. It's all about her. He said he's tired of putting details of their personal lives on social media. He said she went as far as to broadcast her sex life on social media to become famous. She said that Lashley is delusional. She said if she wanted to use her sex life as a tool, she would have slept with someone way more famous than him. She said she would have slept with Drew instead of Bobby Lashley. Lashley then yelled out, "I want a divorce." He then left the ring, and Lana was somehow surprised that Bobby Lashley wanted a divorce after you ruined him winning the WWE Championship at Backlash on Sunday night. So that was that. So we got all of this, and the wedding cake that Rusev popped out of, and Liv Morgan being wasted in this lesbian wedding angle that happened at the end of December. in 2019 that bled into 2020. Everything about the Lana and Lashley wedding is now becoming a waste of time, as you can see. Now, I don't really think that Bobby Lashley, even now, after all that they're doing, even pairing him with MVP is going to make him a legit contender for the WWE Championship. Even though I will say MVP in this role, not wrestling, because nobody wants to see him wrestle. Don't know why he's being used on this show to wrestle when you have a plethora of talent on this show that you could be using that you're not. Nobody wants to see him wrestle, but in this role as an advocate for Bobby Lashley or others somewhere down the line, I think he does a great job. I love his presence. I love the way he speaks. He was always a good promo. I love the way he carries himself. When MVP speaks, like he's speaking about Bobby Lashley, the way he was talking to Lana, everything that he says is believable. That's one of the highlights of this show, is the way MVP carries himself and the way he defends his clients. The role that MVP has been given is a great role for him. I wish WWE would continue to build upon that. Maybe make a new stable. Maybe do with MVP that you could have did with Paul Heyman and make an MVP stable of MVP guys. Everybody was talking about a stable with Paul Heyman. Make a stable of Paul Heyman guys. Include a woman in there that is a Paul Heyman girl. You know, that was the talk of the town years ago. You could do that here with Bobby Lashley being the first with MVP. I don't know who you could possibly... Apollo Crews, Shelton Benjamin was on tonight's show. Could be. It could be a situation where WWE has something in MVP, and I hope that they really tap into that, because I like the role that they're giving him on this show. But Bobby Lashley as a true contender, a top contender on this show for the WWE Championship, I'm over it, man. I really am. You buried this guy for 3.5 years. Now, all of a sudden, I've said this for weeks. Now you want me to believe in him as a WWE champion or WWE Championship material? I can't see it. Especially not with the situation on creative with this show. Putting him in a tag team match with McIntyre and R Truth, teaming up with MVP and then losing. I don't want to jump ahead. We'll get into it. But that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. We go from that to the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders. Did they have a match for the tag team championships? Of course not. Of course they did. WWE continued the Nickelodeon-like storyline that was embarrassing to everybody on Backlash Sunday night, and they continued it on Monday. It was the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits versus Akira Tozawa and 3 unnamed ninjas, dressed as ninjas. So this one went 2 minutes. Ivar and Ford landed stereo top rope splashes on 2 of the unnamed ninjas, and Ford scored the 3 count. That was it. Afterwards, the big, tall ninja entered, and I still don't have a name on who this is. I think I might have it in my notes. Let me see. Might as well talk about it now. The identity of Akira Tozawa's giant ninja at Backlash is actually 7'3" WWE Performance Center trainee Jordan Omogabin. If I pronounced his name wrong, I probably did. He signed back in 2018 October alongside the likes of Matt Riddle, Mia Yim, and Damian Priest, but is yet to make his TV debut up until, obviously, Backlash and now Monday Night Raw. All I look at when I see this guy is the next Giant Gonzalez. All I look at when I see this guy is the next Big Show. All I look at when I see this guy is the next Great Khali. Why is this guy signed? Clearly not for his wrestling talent. All this guy is signed for is because he's 7'3", folks. And WWE's like, let's get him on TV. Guy probably doesn't even know how to spell wrist lock, but let's get him on TV. Give me a break. Let's get this shit with the Tag Team Championship off of TV, by the way. This is terrible. God fucking awful. I am absolutely appalled that I'm even watching this shit and calling myself a wrestling fan. When I watch this shit, I am embarrassed to see a WWE show on my TV. I'm embarrassed to tell people what I do. But here we are. This is Bruce. This is the Bruce Prichard era, folks, of Monday night. Did you expect anything less? This is exactly what we get when Paul Heyman is fired from head of creative on Monday Night Raw. And I will touch on that in a little bit as we get on further with the podcast. This is exactly why Paul Heyman was fired. Everything you're seeing here. Hokey comedy, Christian, The Big Show, Ric Flair. There's a reason why everybody like that I just mentioned was on this show. Because Paul Heyman is not there. Unreal. Afterwards, the big tall ninja, Jordan, entered. Tozawa stood in front of him acting like a clown. And the Raiders and Prophets had a conference together, just talking about what they should do and how they should attack. They said they want the smoke. And then somehow, some way, this meant the Big Show was supposed to walk out here. The Big Show suddenly walked out, and then I reached for the remote control and asked where my Guy Fieri Diners, Drive-In Dives were, because it wasn't on TV. But Big Show walked out. Clearly, because this is the Paul Heyman-less era of Monday Night Raw. The Ninjas ran at Show. He easily fended them all off. Shoves, headbutt, chokeslam, KO punch. The Big Ninja and Tozawa backed up all the way up to the stage, and Show dwarfed everybody and beat up all of the unnamed ninjas in this segment. Completely garbage, completely stupid. It made everything just feel that much more unimportant. If you can make it worse, they somehow did with the Tag Team Championship situation on Monday night. I don't really understand what they're doing here. This is this is WWE Vince McMahon, Bruce Prichard-like comedy on Monday night, folks. If you're expecting anything less on this show, please continue to think that way because you're going to get it. Honestly. This does not belong on television. It really doesn't. And the state of the tag team titles, man, I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again, man. The state of the tag team titles on WWE television, completely, it is the worst I've ever seen it. It is the worst that I have ever seen it, especially now with Monday Night Raw. Unreal. This is their vision of the tag team titles. This is why I said Andrade and Angel Garza, man, pairing them and putting them up against whoever wins this match next week for the tag team championships, if there is a match, we don't even know. We don't even know. I think pairing them up and putting them against whoever wins this match is a great idea, because honestly, whoever walks out of that match has nobody. If this is what we're looking at, I would rather the titles be abolished. Hashtag delete the Raw Tag Team titles. Going into hour 2, we talk about Christian and Randy Orton. They replayed it. They went backstage to Christian on the phone talking to somebody, I believe it might have been Edge. Somebody he knows apparently about all the risks involved taking this unsanctioned match. He took a deep breath and said he doesn't know what's going on. He wasn't sure if he'd let Randy Orton get away with this on tonight's show. Seth Rollins, we move on from Christian and Randy Orton to the Seth Rollins-Rey Mysterio storyline, which in my eyes is the best storyline on Monday Night Raw. Go figure. Rollins a part of something that I actually enjoy on the show. Who would have thought? Rollins entered, and Philip said Dominik tweeted he's on his way to Raw, but no one has seen him enter the building yet. Seth and Rey is a storyline that I've kind of talked about on recent weeks of the podcast and said exactly what WWE should do, gave them some hints on how to take this storyline. But I don't know if they're going to go that route, but we'll find out. Certainly seems like it. It certainly feels like it, but will they? I don't know. Seth said Rey is a hero because he sacrificed himself for the greater good of Monday Night Raw, even though Monday Night Raw will never be good, ever. Not with Bruce in charge, not with Vince in charge, not with Heyman fired. I just don't see it. He said Rey sadly declined his invitation to come to Monday night. He said, fortunately, his son Dominik has taken it upon himself to appear at Raw on Monday on behalf of the Mysterio family. Rey showed up on the big screen. He told Seth to hear him out. Apparently, we were graced with Rey Mysterio's presence on tonight's show. He just knew that Rollins was in the ring talking shit about him, and he appeared out of nowhere on the big screen. Love how these things just happen, right? We didn't even get a word on if Mysterio was going to be there, but he just shows up because Rollins is in the ring. Gotta love how these things work on Monday night. So Rey showed up on the big screen. He told Seth to hear him out. Rey said he wants to tell him that he didn't know Dominik was on his way to Raw until it was too late. He said he can't stop him, but he knows what Seth is capable of. Seth told Rey he has it all wrong. He said he doesn't want to hurt Dominik. I want to help Dominik, says Seth Rollins to Rey Mysterio. He said Dominik is a part of the future. and is already a part of the greater good. He implored to Rey to help him, help Dominik, to encourage him, and have him join Murphy and Austin Theory. Rey broke into Spanish. I didn't know what he said. And then he said, under no circumstances. Seth said Rey is leaving him with very few options. He said Murphy and Theory are looking for Dominik as I speak. Seth obviously got angered with what Mysterio was saying and said if Dominik isn't part of the solution, then he is absolutely part of the problem and must be sacrificed. Rey said he will end Seth if he touches his son. Seth said he heard him loud and clear. He said, fortunately for Dominik, Rey doesn't make decisions for him. He said he's an adult who makes his own choices. There's the in right there. There's the in to the storyline, to the pitch I made storyline-wise, right there. Dominik makes his own decisions. What could Rey do if he's not in the building? What could Rey do or say to Dominik if he's not there? I don't understand it. Seems like they're going in the way that I had pitched. We'll see. So obviously Dominik is going to make his own choices. So Rey doesn't make the decisions for him. He says that he is an adult who makes his own choices, and he has two roads to choose between. He can stand by his side and be on the right side of history, or he can make the choice that Rey made. He dropped to his knees and said Dominik can become a sacrifice as well. So Dominik jumped the barricade. He entered the ring, showed up from behind Seth Rollins. The audience was completely quiet on Dominik's behalf as he entered the ring to keep it low-key and a surprise. He attacked Seth from behind and threw him hard into the ringside steps. Theory and Murphy showed up and went after Dominik. He outmaneuvered them, and he came across as if he was just taking on 3-on-1 in this situation, running around the ring. He clotheslined Seth from behind. Theory and Murphy tried to trap him. He went into the ring. He then jumped over the barricade and then exited the arena through the audience. And that was it. And that was the end of the segment. So Theory, Murphy, and Seth stood behind the barricaded crowd, and they were pounding on the glass, and they watched Dominik escape them for this week at least. So that was that. A, happy that Dominik showed up. B, it looks like they are planting the seeds for Dominik to stick up for his father, who cannot fight for himself right now because of injury. And if it happens, again, man, I want some royalties from WWE Creative. If Dominik is in this storyline now, we've seen him on the screen the last week or so, and now he's in the flesh. Now he's involved. Now he attacked Seth Rollins. Could this lead to a match at Extreme Rules between Dominik and Seth Rollins? You know, the name of the pay-per-view actually goes with what I've been pitching for Seth Rollins and Dominik in this storyline. It's Extreme Rules. Not in the nature that we've all come to know about Extreme Rules. It's not hardcore, it's not kendo sticks, it's not steel chairs, it's not blood or anything of that nature. It is Extreme Rules. This rule would be extreme. Rey Mysterio has nothing to do with this right now because he's quote-unquote injured. Dominik wants to fight for his father's honor. Dominik wants to fight the fight that his father cannot right now. And Seth Rollins says, I will grant you this match, but if you lose, then you join me and Murphy and Austin Theory in our group, and you become, a part of us. You are on the right side of making Monday Night Raw good, or fighting for the greater good of Monday Night Raw. That's exactly what I think needs to happen here. And it plays into the Extreme Rules pay-per-view name. It is extreme. It is an extreme decision. It is a rule that I don't think Rey Mysterio wants Dominik to make on his own, but what could Rey do if Dominik is his own man, like Seth Rollins said in this promo? It definitely fits the nature of the match and the stipulation. Extreme Rules, which would obviously lead to Rollins and Mysterio going one-on-one at SummerSlam, where Rey Mysterio has to win to fight for his son and get him out of the grasp of Seth Rollins. I think it works. And that's exactly where they're going with this. I would hope, because that's exactly how I would book it. So we'll see what happens. I think still this is the best thing on Monday Night Raw, because it doesn't involve Edge or Randy Orton, which is easy because they're both legends. And this is involving Dominik, Rey, and Seth Rollins in a classic storyline of father, son, and the obviously manipulative heel in Seth Rollins. I think it's great. I really do. They cut to a promo backstage with R Truth walking up to MVP and Bobby Lashley. MVP asks Truth what he wants. I would ask him the same thing. Guy's a clown, even though he's funny, a clown. Truth had some trouble coming up with some words he wanted to use. Truth said he feels bad for Bobby Lashley. He said not only losing to Drew McIntyre last night, but now he's getting a divorce. Lashley said he's making jokes at his expense. Truth then said he was excited to team with Drew McIntyre later. He mentioned something about Bobby Lashley being taken to Claymore Town, USA. He's like, I don't even know where the fuck that is. I don't even know where that is. In fact, I can't help you. I might have gotten lost on my way there. Truth turned to Drew McIntyre, who was there, and MVP says, you can run, but you can't hide. Truth was crawling out from underneath the ring and saw MVP and Lashley standing there. Drew showed up by his side. MVP says when he sees Drew, he sees a pretender, not a champion. Drew told Lashley that he's turned down MVP's offer because he's all talk and false promises. MVP said he already got Bobby a title opportunity. MVP told Drew if he had any integrity, he put his title on the line. He told Truth to put his 24/7 title on the line too. So both belts are at stake. Winner takes all. Man, oh man, is this the creative in WWE? Around the same time last year, we were doing the same thing with Rollins and Becky Lynch, with Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans. Is this the extent of WWE's creative? And correct me if I'm wrong, it was going into an Extreme Rules pay-per-view as well. Unreal. Unreal the extent of WWE creative. So bad that they cannot book fresh, engaging, interesting storylines on their own show. That is terrible. And the fact that Drew McIntyre is being affiliated with R Truth, who's a 24/7 champion, is even fucking more egregious. So he was talking to Drew McIntyre, put your title on the line. Why don't you put your 24/7 title on the line? Winner take all match. So Truth yelled, we're going to do it. Drew thought for a second, and he held back a little bit. He's up for the winner take all match. Is Truth, you're on. So he answered for Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre did not give an answer. Truth answered for him. MVP called him a sucker and walked away. Match was made. Truth looked excited. He looked at Drew McIntyre excited. We got this dog. We got this dog. Drew gave Truth an intense look. How could you? What is wrong with you? Truth told him by the end of the night, we could be the new Becky Two Belts. Drew says he doesn't know what winner takes all mean. Saxton said Drew could lose his title without even getting pinned. That would be awful. And that's exactly where I thought they were going with this. Why would Drew even agree to that? Why would he agree to that? Why are you having your WWE champion involved with R Truth, who I think is funny as shit, but a joke? He's a comedy act. Why would you have your WWE champion just involved with R Truth and the 24/7 champion, which is a joke of a title, on Monday night? Do you not realize that having Drew McIntyre associate with R Truth and the 24/7 championship is actually bringing down his title reign? It is making his title reign feel a little bit more unimportant as the weeks go on. I don't really understand your logic there. You could have done anything coming out of that great match that he had with Bobby Lashley at Backlash, and this is what you write us on Monday night after Backlash. I don't really understand the logic there. Do you want to build a credible champion? Do you want to build a champion that is looked at in the main event? Do you want to build a championship that is looked at as prestigious and in the main event? Do you want to build a championship that is the most important title in your entire company? The answer should be yes, but clearly you don't give a shit. Not if you're doing this. I hate this shit. Titles should mean everything, no matter the situation. The 24/7 title is a fucking joke. There's no reason why you're involving R Truth and the 24/7 championship in anything Drew McIntyre is doing. Friend or not. McIntyre's up here. R Truth is in catering. Give me a fucking break. Natalya and Liv Morgan, exactly what we want to see, against the IIconics, the moronics, the stuponics, the idiotics, the let's pick up the remote control and see what's on Travel Channel, Food Network, Destination America, CBS, ABC, Fox, Onyx, anything. Maybe they have a John Taffer fucking marathon on Paramount for Bar Rescue. I'd take anything. I would honestly take anything over the fucking IIconics being on my TV. Seriously. Unreal. This one went 2 minutes. Tag team match apparently happened. I closed my eyes and it was over. We got the IIconics, the moronics, winning here. After a blind tag, the IIconics double-teamed Natalya, and that was it. That was it. I believe Natalya was pinned. It might have been Liv Morgan. Fuck me, I didn't watch the match. Why would I? Why would I? The IIconics win. After the match was over, the IIconics called out Sasha Banks and Bayley. Great. A match that nobody wants to see. They called out Sasha and Bayley. They said they win 2-on-2 matches, so they challenged them to a tag team match on Raw. No response. No response. Sasha and Bayley realized that these two are clowns, and they are not worth their time, so they didn't even come out after the challenge was made. Kay said, if not tonight, how about next week? They threw down their microphones, and they walked away. Great. Now we have a bathroom break to look forward to next week, folks. And even so, Sasha and Bayley are in the match. It is still a bathroom break because of who they're in the ring with. The moronics. Get them off my TV. I'm going to have to revise my new t-shirt. Backstage, Christian continued to mull over the situation about Randy Orton. Should he do it? Should he not do it? In walks the Big Show, who apparently was the fucking psychiatrist of Monday Night Raw tonight. Big Show offered him some advice. He said Orton isn't offering him a non-sanctioned match because it's the only way he can be cleared to compete. It's because he knows how rough that type of match can get. Now, Christian asked if Show was discouraging him from taking Randy up on his offer. Show said it's up to him, but he hasn't seen Randy this sadistic in a while. I have. Do you guys remember the feud with Jeff Hardy on SmackDown and what he did to Jeff Hardy leading into their Hell in a Cell match? I do. That was a sadistic Randy Orton. You know the Randy Orton that took a screwdriver and put it in Jeff Hardy's earlobe? That's the Jeff Hardy that I actually miss because that Jeff Hardy was doing good things on SmackDown before things went downhill for him. And that's the Randy Orton I want to see on WWE TV. I like this Randy Orton, but this is nowhere near the sadistic Randy Orton that I think we all have come to know and love. But WWE thinks that this PG version is the most sadistic of Randy Orton that we will ever see. So he said he could step back and say now isn't the time, or he could step into the ring and show him he's not a punk. Show said if it wasn't him and Randy talk to him, he'd erase that snarky smile off of his face. He raised his fist. Christian thanked him and said, now I know what I have to do. That was it. We go on from Christian and Show to Natalya and Liv Morgan. Apparently Liv Morgan was a shitty partner. Natalya said she was trying to keep her cool out there during the match with the IIconics, but Liv made a rookie mistake, Natalya said. This rookie mistake, I'm trying to figure out where the rookie mistake was. This rookie, Natalya, actually beat you on the WrestleMania pre-show back in April. So how much of a rookie mistake could she possibly make? I didn't think you realized that, right? You didn't think I remembered that, right? I remembered. Fuck out of here. So she said, Liv Morgan lacked discipline and made rookie mistakes. I lacked discipline watching this fucking show. I totally get why Ruby Riott let you go. I don't understand why Ruby Riott's off TV. That's what I'd like to know. Liv walked away without saying anything. Good. What does Natalya have to say that's worth anything? I'd walk away too. So Natalya was talking to herself. She said, there's no respect and appreciation on this show. She said she built this division on her back and she's only been humiliated in every situation she's been in. Lana walked up to her and it looked like she was just standing in the fucking corner waiting for her cue to come on in, because where she walked, you guys have to watch this, where she walked into the frame here for this promo, she legitimately morphed from the production crates that were standing behind her. There was no way Lana walked into this promo segment with Natalya and came from where she came from. You have to go back and watch it. If you watch the show, you know exactly what it's like she walked and morphed right through the fucking production crates as if she was a ghostly entity. WWE, man, these little things, they think I don't pick up on. It looked fucking ridiculous. She just literally was standing there during this entire promo, and then the camera pans over, and all of a sudden we see Lana walking into frame. It looked ridiculous. So Lana was talking about, being married to Bobby Lashley, and she should have been married to the WWE champion, but now she's gotten humiliated in front of the entire world because he asked for a divorce. She said she put everything into that marriage and now she's being blamed. Natalya said she knows how Lana feels. So I don't know what's happening here. Apparently, WWE is pairing Lana up with Natalya in some way, shape, or form, and Liv Morgan is the rookie. She's the undisciplined one. Are we going to get some continuation with Lana and Liv Morgan, or are we just going to glance by that and forget that the lesbian angle even happened and the wedding even happened? I don't know. Given Bruce, there might be a situation where they revise this on Monday Night Raw. I wouldn't be surprised. Christian walked out to the stage. Again, a very, very segment and promo-heavy show. Caruso approached him on the stage and asked if he had an answer yet. Christian said Orton accused him of being jealous and tried to replace Edge. He said he's proud of his WWE career and has nothing left to prove to Orton or anyone, but I won't be disrespected. He said if Orton wants to give him one more match, I'm going to take him up on it. I accept. And that was it. Christian Cage is now in the main event of Monday Night Raw in 2020 against Randy Orton. Unsanctioned on Monday Night Raw. Quote unquote, unsanctioned. But WWE is televising it, and they are allowing it to happen on their show, and they're putting in the main event, but it's unsanctioned. There's a WWE referee there. It's unsanctioned. So there you go. Anyway, man, before we continue on, we got MVP and Apollo Crews, a possible joining of forces there. Apollo Crews in the United States Championship. He was on the show tonight in a match against Shelton Benjamin. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but I want to shout out my sponsor for tonight's show, Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Make sure you guys go and check out Audible. You can get 30 days free of their service and one free audio book of your choice. Great way to get something for free just for listening to the Monday Night Raw review right here on the podcast. Jim Ross has a new book that everybody is raving about, Under the Black Hat. You guys can get it for free on Audible, and Jim Ross narrates it himself. So that's a steal right there, man. You guys can get it for free, and anything else on their website. Over 200,000 choices to choose from, a lot of which are wrestling related. So sign up today, man, using our link, audibletrial.com/offthescript, and get your 30 days free and your one free audiobook today on the podcast, man. Thank you so very much for supporting my sponsors, including Audible. audibletrial.com/offthescript. MVP was backstage. He was all over the show tonight. He approached Apollo Crews, who was warming up before his match against Shelton Benjamin. MVP congratulated him on retaining the United States Championship. Crews said he's proud to be a fighting champion. MVP says he has to fight the right person at the right time for the right amount of money. He said he's about to face Shelton Benjamin tonight, a formidable former United States champion. He's like, I know a thing or two about United States champions because I was myself a United States champion. He said Crews can burn out and soon become a former United States champion. To avoid these pitfalls, I could help navigate you, he said. Crews said the way he sees it, if he's not a fighting champion, he's not a champion at all. Tell that to Vince McMahon. You won't be a champion at all now that Bruce Prichard's on the fucking show. I'll tell you that right now. He turned down MVP's offer. MVP picked up the United States Championship belt and said the only way he keeps this title is with him in his corner. He gave the belt back to Crews, and Crews said, whatever, man, whatever, and continued to work out, getting ready for his match against Shelton Benjamin. We got Ric Flair in a promo backstage with Charlotte. There was barely any Charlotte on this show. Barely any Charlotte. This was it, folks. I was shocked. Ric Flair told Charlotte backstage she needs to know what her plan is. Oh, don't worry, Rick. I'm sure you know what her plan is. I know what her plan is. Everyone knows what her plan is. Charlotte asked if he means which title she's going for next, of course. Of course, because we can't have Charlotte without a fucking title around her waist. Flair said, who is getting under her skin? Pretty sure I'm at the top of the list. And gladly so. Proudly so. Charlotte said she does what she wants and let out a woo. She said that is the answer. I'll let out a woo when Charlotte fucking retires and gets off my TV. Apollo Crews versus Shelton Benjamin. United States Championship match. I guess this was for the United States Championship. I don't know why this would be for the United States Championship. Shelton Benjamin hasn't been on TV since the fucking Royal Rumble. Why is this guy getting a United States title opportunity? That's what I want to know. Bruce Logic Gap Prichard in full effect, folks. Apollo Crews beat Shelton Benjamin in 3 minutes. So we had, obviously, Shelton Benjamin trying to cheat to win. Shelton tried to pin Crews with a leverage pinfall here, feet on the middle rope. Crews then rolled up Shelton Benjamin as Shelton argued with the referee. Why, I wasn't cheating. I wasn't cheating. So he was arguing with the referee. Apollo Crews rolled him up from behind, and Apollo Crews got a leverage pinfall victory as champion over Shelton Benjamin. So that was that. Samoa Joe on commentary said, I might have been wrong about Apollo Crews. This is the Apollo Crews we need to see more of. Taking things in his own hands and retaining that championship. So that was that. I don't really know why this match was made. Like I said, Shelton Benjamin has not been on TV since the Royal Rumble. But I'm glad that they had Shelton Benjamin come out of catering for one night only. I don't know. Does he factor into anything on this show? Probably not. Probably not. But we'll see what happens with Apollo Crews. I can envision him dropping that title to said Kevin Owens in some way, shape, or form as we head into the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. But Shelton Benjamin, I mean, they got so much talent on this show that they did not use, but they opted to use Shelton Benjamin. I don't get it. This is clearly a Bruce Prichard show. Shelton Benjamin, Aleister Black, Humberto, Austin Theory, and everybody else, that Ricochet, Cedric Alexander, these guys don't exist on this show. But Shelton Benjamin, we got Shelton on the show. Let's use him. Don't really understand it. Charlie Caruso interviewed Asuka backstage. She asked if Nia is too menacing for her to handle. No, Nia is menacing to watch, not to handle. Give me a break. Asuka ranted in Japanese. Nobody knows what she said and seemed satisfied with herself. Asuka will finish it, she said. Will she? Are you going to evade a potential career-ending injury from Nia Jax? I hope so. We didn't want to see the match last night. Now we have to be blessed with it again. Awesome. Drew McIntyre, the WWE champion, was pacing back and forth. He was worried about losing his championship in this winner-take-all match. In walks R Truth. He said he fixed it by talking to the powers that be. He said the one and only title that will be on the line tonight will be the WWE title. So Drew McIntyre obviously was pissed that his title was on the line. It makes sense to me, Truth said. They liked it. Drew said if Truth gets pinned, he loses his title. I think that's how it goes. Truth told him to believe in him. He said he knows how painful it is to lose a championship because he lost his title many times and it's taken him several days to win it back. Sometimes. Drew was pissed. And this was stupid. It really was. Drew came off like a complete buffoon. Even accepting this match, I would have fucking claymored R Truth right then and there. Drew came off like a fucking buffoon accepting this match. So here we go. We got this tag team match where if Drew McIntyre gets pinned or R Truth gets pinned, he loses his WWE Championship in a fucking tag team match against Bobby Lashley and MVP. Now, I was under the impression, because of what happened with Lana earlier in the night, that Lana would play a factor in Bobby Lashley losing this match as well. That clearly did not happen if you watch the show. I don't want to jump ahead. Let's get into it. Lashley and MVP came out, and Truth sang and danced to the ring. So we got formal ring introductions like a championship match in WWE. Mike Rome did the introductions for everybody. So we got this match going 9 minutes, and it was a tag team match. They tried to play it off as such because the WWE Championship is on the line. So MVP blind tagged in, speeding up here. MVP blind tagged in. Drew went for MVP at ringside aggressively, threw him into the ring. Drew climbed the top rope and leapt off with a flying forearm, did his signature kip up, waited for MVP to stand up. He gave MVP the Future Shock DDT. Lashley broke up the cover. Truth ran in. Lashley threw him out of the ring. Lashley charged at Truth, but Truth used a drop toe hold to send Lashley into the stairs on the outside. Meanwhile, Drew in the ring kicked MVP out of a roll-up, and then after the roll-up, kicked him in the face with a Claymore kick, and that was it. Made the cover, or actually he was about to make the cover, but he tagged in R Truth. And I swear to God, I thought in this moment, he delivered a Claymore kick after a roll-up on MVP. He delivered a Claymore kick, and he didn't go for the pin. I sat there legitimately with my jaw dropped. I'm like, this is how he's going to lose the fucking title. He tagged in R Truth. R Truth went off the top rope. He launched R Truth off the top rope onto MVP for a splash off the top rope and covered 1, 2, 3. And that was it. So we got Drew and Truth winning in about 10 minutes, and he retains the WWE Championship. Remember when I mentioned Lana, and I thought Lana was going to interfere in this shit? Nowhere was Lana found. So what you're telling me is that this is it for Bobby Lashley. This is it for MVP and their chase for the WWE Championship. Because clearly, there was no Lana. The championship was on the line. Bobby Lashley lost on Sunday. So now Bobby Lashley gets no more shots at the WWE Championship. So what you're telling me is Bobby Lashley's momentum is ruined on Monday Night Raw. His shot at the WWE Championship is now come and gone. That's what you're telling me. This is it. This is the end. I don't want to hear about Lana ruining Lashley at Backlash. He got another opportunity, which R Truth accepted on Drew McIntyre's behalf. Drew McIntyre, like a fool, accepted this without any backlash. Pun intended. And he won. So now Bobby Lashley, 2 WWE Championship opportunities in 2 nights, and he lost both. Where was Lana? I don't want to see Bobby Lashley at Extreme Rules versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. That ship tonight crashed and sank. Done. You now build somebody else for Drew McIntyre going into Extreme Rules. If it's Bobby Lashley, I'm going to be one pissed off critic. It doesn't make sense. Tonight, you just told us it's over. Drew McIntyre deserves better. I see it already. It's written in the fucking stars. They are ruining his title reign. The more you do this, the more you ruin his reign. The more you pair him with the likes of R Truth, you ruin his reign. The fact of the matter that you don't even have the WWE Championship in the main event ruins his reign and takes away from his reign on this show as the head guy. It ruins his WWE title reign on Monday night. Christian and Randy Orton in the main event. Why? Because Christian is a plan F in WWE's cards because his best friend is hurt? The WWE Championship is in the middle of the show, in the middle of the pack, as the 3rd most important program on this show. If you think that's what makes a good title reign, you clearly shouldn't be a fucking WWE creative writer. You shouldn't be in charge of anything wrestling related. The WWE Championship should be head and shoulders the most important thing on the show, and it has not been portrayed like that since he won it from Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I am sick and tired of the title and Drew in this role where he should be portrayed as the man being 3rd rate on this show. Oh, but JD, Christian is coming back. It's Christian's first match in God knows how many years. That doesn't give WWE the right to book their champion and their championship like it doesn't fucking matter. The United States Championship has had more momentum than the WWE Championship on Monday Night Raw. Start booking the title with some fucking prestige and start making his championship reign mean something. Give me a break. The fact that Randy Orton now is doing what he's doing and Edge is off TV, he should be lined up as the next guy. Because there's no one else on this show that is even in that realm to challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. And please, I know what I said. I don't want people to be in the comment section, or JD's contradicting himself. I get it. But if the Edge storyline is the big thing on WWE TV, and Randy Orton is unstoppable with what we've seen tonight, took out Edge, took out Christian, has Ric Flair in his corner, then shouldn't you be booking him as the big guy, the big heel on Monday night? Oh, but JD, Randy Orton doesn't want to be the WWE champion. He doesn't want that role on WWE TV. They might be going back to touring. When? How? Where? Randy Orton is operating out of the Performance Center. WWE is operating out of the Performance Center. They're not going to be touring. Randy Orton doesn't need to show up for any show as the WWE champion. He shows up when he wants. WWE, time and time again, has given Brock Lesnar the WWE Championship and had an absentee champion. So if it makes sense, and it gets the title in something prestigious on this show, and it makes sense, then book it. Instead of having the title be mediocre. I don't really understand the need to put Christian back on Monday Night Raw. I don't really need to see that or want that or have the WWE Championship be third rate. I don't get it. This is it for Lashley. This is it for Bobby Lashley. I don't want to see it again. WWE ended that tonight, and rightfully so. Backstage, Ric Flair approached Christian. He says he's not ready for this with Randy Orton. He said he gets why he's doing it, but Orton is on top of his game. He says he's mean and sadistic and wants to prove that to everybody. Flair said the whole dressing room will forgive you if you back out of this match, so don't go out there and get hurt. Christian said he can't let Orton get away with what he said, and he walked away from Ric saying he appreciates Ric Flair's concern. So obviously, I was thinking during this entire thing, seeing Ric Flair now integrated into this, and I kind of figured that Ric Flair was going to do something with Randy Orton. You can see the tale of two shows here, man. I was thinking about this while watching Ric Flair on the show, on top of seeing Big Show and Christian and WWE just doing what they're doing with the Street Profits and the Viking Raiders and the Ninjas and all this other shit, right? You could see the tale of two shows. Honestly, what really kind of made it jump out at me is the fact that we had all of these people that Paul Heyman was pushing on this show not on the show. Austin Theory, Aleister Black, Humberto Carrillo, Ricochet, Cedric Alexander. These guys were not on the show at all in any capacity. You can see the tale of two cities here. A show written by Bruce and Vince, and a show written by Paul Heyman, or a direction at least that Paul Heyman wanted to go in. Paul Heyman was willing to sacrifice ratings for the better good of Monday Night Raw, for the future of Monday Night Raw. Meanwhile, Vince, this show, like the report said, Vince wants to worry about the now. Christian and Big Show and Ric Flair were on this show. Look at the talents that WWE did not even feature on this show tonight, and look at who they featured most. Christian had about 4 segments. Ric Flair had 3 segments. Big Show had 3 segments. That's the future of Monday Night? That's the direction you want to go in? It's not a show I want to be associated with. Awful. That's what really made me think of that while watching this Ric Flair segment. Sasha and Bayley came out to the ring. Happy birthday, Bayley, by the way. She announced it was her birthday. She said she was going to celebrate all week. They're going to take a trip to NXT and defend the titles against Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. Very much looking forward to that. Out came the Moronics. Sasha mentioned the Moronics, the Idiotics. The Guy Fieri is eating a fucking triple stack cheeseburger Onyx on Food Network Onyx. She told them not to tell them when they can defend their titles. Then out came the Stuponics. Kay said no one wants another reading off of their resumes. I would listen to Sasha read off anything instead of seeing you two out on WWE TV. So Kay said nobody wants to see them reading off their resumes, but what they want is an answer to their challenge. They should have laughed in their face and said, absolutely no. Bayley said they lost last night. Sasha said they must feel special about winning a quick match tonight. Ha ha ha. Throwing it right in their face about how garbage they really are. Bayley said they can beat any team. The Moronics said they beat them last year at WrestleMania for those belts. Kay said that they each had their own separate meltdowns, which we know was complete bullshit. Ryan fucking Moron is probably laughing ha 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 about this comment. Did not happen at all. Fake news about the meltdown. I know. They mocked them. Kay said they couldn't handle the pressure then or now. Royce slapped Sasha. Bayley yelled, "You can't ruin my birthday like this." She accepted their challenge. Sasha wasn't happy that Bayley said that. They argued briefly, and Sasha took a shot at Bayley. And the IIconics were happy that they got these two to give them a tag team title opportunity next week on Monday night. The one thing I thought about this, folks, is actually two things I thought about this. Number one, I don't want to see this match, and neither does anybody else. This is awful. Also, with them announcing this match next week, it pretty much gives away the outcome of the Sasha, Bayley, Tegan Nox, and Shotzi Blackheart match, which we kind of understand is going to Sasha and Bayley anyway, but don't give away the fucking outcome before we get to Wednesday. Tease me a little bit, please. So you gave away this match announcement for next week, even though now we know Sasha and Bayley are going to NXT and going to win against Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox, so thank you for that. Number two, it looks like WWE is still in the boat of having Sasha Banks hold a championship no later than 30 days. WWE is going to keep one of its most glorious streaks alive in their eyes, because I think it's fucking ridiculous. WWE is looking to keep one of their glorious streaks alive, and that is having Sasha Banks hold a championship 30 days or less. That's exactly what they're doing here. I would not be surprised or shocked that this gives the IIconics the tag team championships, and this is what sets off Sasha Banks and Bayley. I would not be shocked at all. This was the one thing. You've seen it. They mocked Sasha and Bayley. They brought up the meltdown that some idiotic fucking reporter mentioned that was fake news. They mentioned that. They mentioned their meltdown. They mentioned that they took the titles off of them at WrestleMania. It looks like WWE is going to take the titles of Bayley and Sasha and put it right back on the team that led Sasha to walking away completely for the entire summer. And it's going to start their breakup and Sasha chasing Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. But what difference does it make if Sasha beats Bayley for the Women's Championship? She's not going to hold the title past 30 days. They'll probably have Sasha drop it to Lacey Evans in October at the next pay-per-view. Or September. Never mind fucking October. September. If SummerSlam is in August, they'll probably have Sasha hold it till September and drop it to Lacey Evans, because it'll continue the consistent streak of Sasha holding a title less than 30 days. That's what I got out of this. I hope to God that is not the case. Asuka versus Nia Jax, Raw Women's Championship. Asuka wins in 9 minutes. I swear to God, man, I'd be lying to you if I paid attention to this. I didn't. I didn't want to see it then. I don't want to see it now or forever, ever again. Asuka wins in 9 minutes. I did go back and watch what happened here, because I had to for the sake of the fucking podcast. Jax threw a fit. She hit a Samoan drop. Asuka's foot was underneath the rope. Ref wouldn't start the count because Asuka's foot was underneath the rope. There you go, Jax. Rules! But you wouldn't know anything about that because you're a make-believe pro wrestler. Foot was underneath the rope. Jax argued with the referee, shoved him. He was about to disqualify her. So Asuka rolled her up from behind. The referee was about to disqualify her. He's seen the pin. He's like, ha ha ha, I'm going to fuck this woman over. She ain't winning the championship on my watch. 1, 2, 3. Fast count by the referee. Asuka retains. 9 minutes. Asuka retains the Raw Women's Championship. She holds on to the championship for another week before we get Charlotte Flair to reign supreme on Monday night and give us all fucking nightmares for the rest of the summer. The one thing I want to know about is, and I mean this wholeheartedly, why are they protecting Nia Jax? I really don't understand what the issue is here. Asuka is the most dominant woman. Let me rephrase that. Actually, no, let me repeat that, not rephrase it. I didn't stutter. Asuka is the most dominant woman in WWE history, especially in recent memory. But here we are, and she can't get a clean victory over a cosplay, Comic-Con dress-up pro wrestler like Nia Jax. Why are we protecting this woman? Double count out last night. Referee issue tonight with Asuka's foot being under the bottom rope. Nia Jax clearly doesn't know the fucking rules. Of course not. She's not a pro wrestler. arguing with the referee. The referee gives her a fast count. The referee factors into her losing. But Asuka retains. Why are we protecting Nia Jax? I don't get it. Is this honestly leading to Charlotte being involved in this thing and getting a triple threat match out of it? So Charlotte is the one that pins Nia and wins the championship? Is this exactly where it's going, like I mentioned on the podcast Sunday night? I don't really understand why we're protecting Nia Jax. What does Nia Jax do for the overall health of the division? What does Nia Jax and protecting Nia Jax do for the sake of the women's division? Nothing. So yet we're here, we're protecting Nia Jax and not giving Asuka a clean win when we all know Asuka could fucking, in the snap of a finger, beat Nia Jax and make her tap. Nia Jax could fucking... I don't understand this. She could go away and nobody's going to realize she's gone. That's how worthless and irrelevant she is. Meanwhile, Asuka could fucking snap on a submission hold and within seconds break this woman's arm and make her tap out. Yet you're treating Asuka in a fluke-like manner to get a fluke victory over Nia Jax. I don't really understand the logic here. Unreal. I'm still going with what I said. I think it's a triple threat match. And Charlotte's going to end up pinning Nia Jax. So Asuka is protected, and then Charlotte can go on to be women's champion, and they can tell the story of Asuka, the only woman, right? The only woman who can't beat Charlotte Flair, or Charlotte Flair, the one woman who owns Asuka, more so than any other woman in her entire career, right? The one woman Asuka can't beat. That's your storyline? That's your grand plan for Charlotte Flair dropping the NXT Championship and putting her back on Monday Night Raw? That's your grand idea? Give me a break. I could book this show better in my fucking sleep. Moving on here. Finally. Christian. Randy Orton. Unsanctioned. This match started with 6 minutes left to go. Imagine that. Christian back in a WWE ring, given 6 minutes in an unsanctioned match. You have the WWE Championship. Can't be in the main event. The WWE Championship can't be the major program on the fucking show. Christian back after God knows how long in the main event. Yeah, we'll give him 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Unreal. So Phillips said as Christian came out, this was unthinkable hours ago. Unthinkable. Unthinkable. This is WWE. Nothing is unthinkable. Edge is down. Let's call Jay up. Hey, Jay, you want to wrestle? We'll throw you some dollars. Your best friend's hurt. We didn't have any plans for you, but we'll put you in the main event. What do you say? This was unthinkable hours ago, says Phillips. He said this is Christian's first match in 6 years. Imagine that. WWE bringing Christian back when he probably didn't want to come back. And WWE bringing Christian back as a plan Z because his best friend tore a bicep or tricep or whatever the fuck he tore at Backlash because he got injured. Imagine that. They're using you because we don't have Edge. Fuck them. Unreal. So Joe said, pride makes fools of wise men. Joe was great. Flair walked out and told Christian he just talked to Edge and he needs to let this one go. Flair told Randy to cut Christian some slack. Christian said he has to do this. Then he gently guided Flair out to the ring. The bell rang. Christian was dressed in all black. You could have put a fucking mask on him. He could have came out with one of the ninjas in Akira Tozawa before. You couldn't even fucking tell the difference. He looked like he was dressed like Akira Tozawa's ninjas. Came out dressed in black. It's an unsanctioned match, right? I guess WWE, I got to give them some credit. They went with the unsanctioned rule. At least they didn't have him come out in fucking wrestling gear, right? It's unsanctioned. There's no rules. This is unsanctioned away from WWE management. Anything goes. Come out in your street clothes. And plus, it would have looked ridiculous if he actually came out there in wrestling clothes because he's not even a part of the active fucking roster. And nobody really said, oh, look, Christian Cage is coming back tonight. He's wrestling for the first time in 6 years. It was unadvertised. So having him come back and just magically have his wrestling gear there, I'm glad WWE didn't go that route. It would look ridiculous. Christian was dressed in all black. Flair gave Christian a low blow from behind. Yes, let me repeat that. Flair gave Christian a low blow from behind. Christian went down. Orton then delivered a punt kick. And Orton slapped his leg again. He slapped his leg at Backlash. He slapped his leg again, but he wants to go on social media and talk about Tommaso Ciampa and the NXT roster slapping their fucking leg while executing maneuvers. Yet here we are, Randy Orton, love him. I thought the match was great at Backlash on Sunday. Slapping his leg with one of his signature moves, having a match like NXT would have with finisher kick out, finisher kick out, finisher kick out. We've seen an angle slam, we've seen an RKO, we've seen a pedigree, we've seen a rock bottom, we've seen a spear, we've seen a execution, right? We've seen all these moves. Kick out, kick out, kick out, kick out, kick out. This is the same match that Randy Orton talked about on social media that he didn't like, and then he brags about, NXT slapping their leg and how ridiculous it is, yet he's slapping his leg. Hypocrite, folks. Hypocrites. There you go. And that's not on the menu in Titus. Okay? Anyway, Orton wins in a few seconds. Punt kick, 1, 2, 3. Orton leaned down. He started petting Christian's head and said this is all his fault and he didn't want to do it. Why are you here? He says. He told the medics to take care of him, and he just looked at what he did. The damage that he caused, he just looked at what he did, surveying the land. The medics put Christian in a neck brace. Orton seemed, I would say he looked like he was regretting what he did and said, they go way back, which they do. Like I mentioned before, one of my favorite feuds in the time that they were feuding for the World Heavyweight Championship. He pleaded with Christian that he didn't mean to do this, but he had to. He says, I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen, but this is my livelihood, and I can't let you interrupt or destroy my livelihood. And then he said, again, I'm so sorry. End of the show. Can we move Randy Orton now to Drew McIntyre? If WWE, listen, I'm going to say it again, and I mentioned this throughout the show, okay? I don't advocate for Drew McIntyre to lose the WWE Championship. I think building a consistent reign and a powerful and a dominant reign with Drew McIntyre is the way to go. But knowing WWE and knowing that Bruce is now in charge, and clearly they are certainly on an agenda with who they want to push and how they want to push and, who they want to push where and what championships they want people to have, I don't see Drew McIntyre lasting at all as WWE Champion because Bruce Prichard is now a part of Monday Night Raw and Drew McIntyre was a Paul Heyman project. They're going to try and undo everything that Paul Heyman did. I don't want it to happen. I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen and what I think is WWE going with their tried and true. If this is truly the end of Edge and Randy Orton for now, and this took Christian out of the title picture, and now Randy Orton is backed by Ric Flair, who is one of those guys that said Randy Orton is the greatest pro wrestler on the face of the earth right now. He's the greatest of all time. Shouldn't that equate into a world championship title push against Drew McIntyre? They clearly ended the Bobby Lashley storyline. Tonight, no more shots for Lashley. In comes Randy Orton. Have Randy Orton take the WWE Championship. I don't want it. Again, I don't want it. But knowing Vince and Bruce and how they want to change everything, we certainly could see it, and it fits right into their plans. Orton holds the title. Edge comes back. Edge beats Orton for the WWE Championship. There's his one big crowning moment in these 3 years that he's back, if he even lasts that long. Now, if he's out an extended period of time, and he is out for 8 or 9 months, he may come back for WrestleMania. Can you imagine the third and final match in this trilogy on Edge's return to the WWE, ending at WrestleMania, and him winning the WWE Championship? Could be a possibility. Could be a possibility. I don't want to throw it out there. I don't want you guys to think I'm fucking losing my mind, but it is a possibility here. Because clearly they ended one thing, they ended another, and now they have nothing. What does Drew McIntyre do now that they ended Bobby Lashley? What does Randy Orton do now that Edge and Christian are out? You don't deliver a punt kick and then expect someone to come back. What is he going to do? Only time will tell. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you for all that you do. If you enjoyed the podcast, if you enjoyed my takes on this show, let me know down below in the comment section. Hit that thumbs up. Follow me on social media, at JDfromNY206. Hit that subscribe button down below. And let me know, again, what you thought of Monday Night Raw and what I said here on the podcast. Patreon.com. If you guys want to support the podcast, patreon.com/JDfromNY206. And if you missed any of my other content, down below in the description is all you need, man. Everything you need is linked down below in the description of the video that you're watching right now. Again, thank you to all the new subscribers out there that joined me from the Backlash live stream. Hopefully you enjoyed. And I'll see you right back here on Wednesday when we talk AEW Dynamite on TNT, man. Cody's next title defense against who? We'll find out then. See you guys then.